This episode of Love Larn is sponsored by Scott Bonnar Fabrication and Parts. It's time to put this rear roller half back together today. This is the 14-inch machine, and it includes a counterweight. I'm pretty certain some of the 20-inch machines have a counterweight as well. Pretty simple affair. Big heavy pieces, cast iron or steel, whatever it is. Some threaded holes, which make to the threaded holes in the roller half. So I've got my original 2 hex head bolts here, which are a bit crapped out because I reared them, and I've got some nice new stainless steel bolts, which are a little bit, if you can see that, a little bit shorter, but I think they should do the trick. I've also got a washer, a little spring washer on them as well, just to keep them in place, and my plan is to drop a dab of the medium strength thread locker on there as well, just to keep everything together, because taking the rear rollers apart and off the machine is not something that I want to do again in a hurry. So given the inside of this just a bit of a prime with some grey primer. I'm pretty sure this is a black primer on the counterweight. So interestingly, there's 2 sides to this counterweight. There's a little sort of countersunk threaded section on this side, and the hole runs all the way through to this side, but there's no thread on this side. I'm going to try and lower this in and get it as close into position with those bolt holes as I possibly can. Just kind of gauging off the 2 larger holes, really. Now that I've got this thing sort of roughly lined up, I'm just going to pop just a little dash of that and the thread locker on each thread, and see if I can engage the threads. That one looks like it's off to an alright start. And I'm just checking the alignment through the light really coming through the holes. And looks like that one's going to catch as well, hopefully. Let's see, I've got my 1/2-inch socket to finish tightening things up now, hopefully. And we'll tighten those off. There we have it. You can just see the counterweight visible through those 2 holes, hopefully. We've got our 2 bolts in place and our counterweight. If you can see down in there, is successfully mounted into the roller. So we've got the counterweight in place on this half of the roller. The other one doesn't have a counterweight. Next job is to get these ratchet boxes back together in each half as well. So there's a little PVC dust sleeve on each one. These should just slide home over the little sort of section, the related section of the ratchet box. Another thing worth checking as well is that you've got your brass bushing in place on each of these, through which the shaft and the rear roller shaft passes. If you're having any trouble getting these on, a little bit of warm water, hot water from the kettle poured over the top, just help you slide those home easily. I'm also going to pop a little bit of grease around this rim, just to facilitate future removals, and I'll probably pop a little bit of the medium strength thread locker on the 3 bolts that go through. each of the ratchet boxes into the roller half. If you're wondering, these are the 1/4 inch by 1/2 inch, just high tensile bolts. Pick these up at Bunnings. Just going to smear a generous amount of grease over this section. It's basically the inner lip of the roller half. Just try and get it up on the side as well there, not on the inside at all. Obviously I've painted or primed primed this already, so it's probably not necessary, but these things can get really really corroded together, so I figure why not. If someone ever takes this thing apart in the future, they might thank me for it. If I ever take it apart in the future, I might thank myself for it. Try not to get grease everywhere. I'm just using the tip of my finger just to get that into the back corner. So the ratchet box, I've got the 3 holes. I'll worry about the pawls and the shaft later. I've already tested to make sure that the roller's rear shaft is going to slide through here without too many hassles. So I'm just lining up this bottom section of the dirt sleeve on that lower section. Let's see. There we go. So that's going to just fit in there like that. You can see it's sitting a little bit lower from the top section of the roller half there. And same again with this one. That one's a little bit firmer. Come back to it, we'll get our bolts started in here. And I did say I was going to put a bit of thread lock on there. I'm just going to make sure everything's lined up first there with one bolt for reference. Give that a shake. Thread locker's not necessary, but I figure this is sort of one of those areas where, hopefully not going to be rushing back to disassemble again in a hurry. So a little bit of extra help probably isn't going to be a bad thing. And the medium strength does come apart if you need it to. So with the thread locker, I'm just putting a little line on there. I'm not coating the entire thread. There aren't any washers under these guys. Probably could put a washer under there.
One eternity later.
I'm going to be gentle with these cast parts, not overdo it. It's not unheard of cracking them and disassembling. So after all the work we've been through, we don't want to damage them now. our two roller halves. You can see now while we pop that down a little bit further into that seat, because these bolt heads need to be below the surface of the outer lip of this roller so that the two halves can come together without much room between them. Give that a wipe. And we're ready to get our pawls and shaft going next.